What improved your quality of life so much you wish you did it sooner? Sleeping when I'm sleepy. Instructions unclear. Fired from work. Let me introduce you to naps. At my office, pretty much every new parent co-worker would eat a quick lunch then sit in their car and nap. Or take a 20-minute coffee break in their car. You knew the car nappers because their cars would be parked in a lot that was not quite visible from the office due to some trees and the spots were shaded. When I try to take a nap, I wake up 8 hours later. I've tried, and I just come back more sleepy. Not for everyone, I guess. Edit. Everyone saying drink some type of coffee. I don't drink it. I have enough of a problem with trying to solve GERD. The trick is to find the longest amount of time you can nap without waking up tired. For me, I can't sleep more than 15 minutes. My problem is I'm always sleepy. Edit. My first comment over 100 upvote. Thanks everyone. And mostly thanks for the health advices. I will try them. Drink more water. Fatigue is one of the first symptoms of milk dehydration. If that doesn't help, ask a doctor. Edit. Mild JFC autocorrect. 43YO. Started exercising regularly again. 4x a week. Forget the physical benefits for a minute. The mental benefits outweigh the gains all day. This is exactly why I finally took up exercise. I've never considered myself a fitness girl by any means. But last winter my mental health took such a hit that I had to try something. And I liked it so much I'm still sticking with it. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the awards. For anyone interested, I use the Fidon app. There's all kinds of cool workouts and it's free. I must have spent a good 3 years of my 30s thinking it was all downhill from here. Minor aches and pains that add up. Sore bones and joints. Turns out I was just being lazy and getting fat. In my 40s now. Exercise daily. Lift weights 5 days a week and mountain bike twice a week and just ran 6 miles this last weekend. In better shape now than at any point in my 30s and feel great. So why did I ever let myself feel like a sloth before? Learning to be okay with saying no and starting off all relationships, personal and professional, with healthy boundaries. You don't ever need an excuse to say no to if you don't want to do something. Don't feel like going out with friends that night. No thank you. Don't want to work an extra shift at your place of employment if it's not mandatory. No thanks boss. Boundaries are amazing, and when set from the beginning, they are much easier to maintain for your own mental well-being. Edit. Well, this has become my highest upvoted comment. Thanks to everyone who responded with stories related to boundary setting, and stay strong. If you still struggle with this, givers have to set limits, because takers don't have any. People suck at this one so much. I see it all the time at work. We are salaried, no what required, and I'm always seeing people working a stupid amount of hours. I put my 8 hours day in and go home, or log off. Since WFH during COVID, I have seen some coworkers putting in 50 to 60 hours on a regular basis, when it's not even required. Oh sure, they find an excuse. I committed to finishing X by Friday, but the reality is that the work will still be there tomorrow and there is always more work to do. Or they take on extra work that's not really their job trying to help out one time, and then they get asked again and again and eventually that extra work just becomes their responsibility. The more you do the more that is expected, so eventually you're expected to produce an amount of work that takes 60 hours a week and it's just not sustainable. These people burn themselves out for no reason. There's nothing wrong with working extra because of an emergency on occasion or helping someone out if you have time, but regularly giving in turns this into the new expectation. Companies will take as much as you will give them and pay you as little as possible in the process. Set your boundaries and stick to them, or you're going to regret it later. Agree. And to add to this, a big thing is actually just saying no, rather than avoiding the situation by not confronting it. I remember on my mid-20s, when my social life started to change. People just getting busier, or getting married etc. I can't even begin to tell you how many invites to hang out, or when I asked if someone could do something I just got ignored. One time a friend said she wouldn't respond to invites if she couldn't/didn't want to go and just like, do you have any idea how bad people feel when they're just ignored? Seriously, it crushed me when people just didn't respond or blew off my invites. I stopped inviting them to do things and friendships fizzled out. However, I do remember the people who would say things like this weekend doesn't work for me, it. Let me know about next time. Or I don't really like hiking, but thanks for the invite. Quitting smoking. I couldn't imagine life without it back then. But man, is life better without a constant need like that, not to mention all the health benefits. Me too. I can walk and run and go upstairs without wheezing now, letting my pride and ego take hits. I used to have been such a me person in my early life. When I allowed myself to be taken down a peg or two, I started having new perspectives on life and people around me. Edit. I don't have words. Thanks so much. It's a great lesson for young people. If you're wrong about something, don't double down on it. Just admit fault. Learn and keep it moving. We all make mistakes. Let's quit pretending we are somehow better than everybody else. Edit. I didn't mean to imply that only young people need to learn this. I just meant it's how we prevent future adults from being insufferable. Edit 2. Damn. So many rewards. Thanks. It's just common sense though. Throwing out all my socks and buying a single type. No more looking for pairs. I did this a few years back and it was a gamma changer. I still have 3 types though. Calf height black socks for office work. Calf height white socks for outdoors work in boots. White ankle socks for casual wear or workouts. Laundry day is EZPZ for my shit. It's the 47,000 different kinds and colors of socks that my kids have that is a problem. Tried this. Was great short term. But my washer/dryer broke. Started using a public laundromat and somehow not only am I losing socks, but I'm gaining other socks I've never seen before. I think the damn dryers are eating/regurgitating other socks and it's super annoying lol. Flossing. I never saw the dentist as a kid and no one really pushed me to or cared about my dental health. As an older editor who had poor dental hygiene growing up, keep at it. Getting old sucks as it is, but it's even worse when you have a problem that could have been avoided. As a kid I got braces and any flossing I did stopped completely right there since it was too annoying to work around them. Once I got them off I overheard a relative of mine talking about how his dentist told him he'd have no teeth if he didn't start flossing, and for some reason that stuck with me. However, I still really hated flossing my back teeth with floss alone, so I began looking for flossing picks and ended up finding a great one specifically designed to assist in getting the back teeth. Dentech Easy Reach Floss Picks. Ever since buying those there has been nearly no days where I missed flossing. While I would strongly recommend anyone who hates using string alone to look into flossers, and I would like to endorse these picks, there is a slight issue. They redesigned them recently and I have not had a chance to use the new design. Just looking at them, I can tell they still have the good shape for back teeth flossing and they seem fine, but the floss quality was changed and I haven't tried the new floss yet, so I don't know how good they currently are. Edit. Well, this is slowly becoming one of my fastest upvoted comments ever, so I figured I'd say a few more things. First, something I forgot to mention about the Dentech flossers is that while most of the time I could reuse a single flosser multiple times for my whole mouth. Ooh, gross, says the person reusing the same toothbrush for 6 months. Don't worry, I cleaned them. I did notice that every now and then I'd open a new package and discover that all the flosser would snap almost immediately. This wasn't a some of the flosser in the pack issue. It was always the entire pack was great or the entire pack was duds. That being said, I believe this has only happened for 2 packs out of over 30, but I do want to be as honest as possible. Second, many people have pointed out that water picks are also a good option that produce far less plastic waste. More importantly, however, if you or your kids are getting braces, this is by far a much easier way to floss your teeth. With all the metal in the way, I actually had a water pick while I had braces, and it worked well. But for a really stupid reason I never used it. The outlet in the bathroom only worked while the light was turned on, so I couldn't charge the water pick in the bathroom. But since it wasn't in the bathroom, I would just forget about it. Looking online, water pick technology seems to have come a long way, even so far as to have cordless, waterproof ones. I might look into trying them again once I run out of the plastic types. Cutting out alcohol. I don't criticize anyone who drinks, but I was a problem drinker. Stopping that cycle improved everything about my life. I haven't quit drinking, but I've more or less quit getting drunk. Yes, it changes things. Automating simple yet time-consuming tasks, like Excel macros, you wouldn't realize how much time you save beforehand, but it sure does save heaps. Excel is a huge part of my work. Where do I learn this stuff? Thank you. Deleting all the people from high school I don't see anymore from social media. Deleting social media altogether. No Facebook, no Twitter, only limited amounts of Reddit. Does wonders. Working from home in it. Fuck, this environment and industry fit me like a glove. WFH is amazing. I can't imagine ever wanting to commute for work again. No more losing time, money, and sleep. I love having ownership over my schedule. Eating healthy. It's amazing after you realize how much you feel like shit after you just took down a double cheeseburger, extra large fries, and a large Coke, but at the time, you don't realize it and just think you're tired. Good eating habits and exercising changed my life. This, but also greasy salty food tastes amazing when you don't eat it as much. I eat fast food pizzas / burgers maybe once a month, and man does that taste way better now. Even then, I won't eat that shit every day. It would make me sick. Hiking in the mountains. Nothing makes me feel more at peace and excited at the same time. Drinking more water. Edit. Thank you everyone for the awards and upvotes. When I got my first real job, I still had no money. The options for something to drink at work were either paying for a soda or water, which was free. One day of drinking water all day, no coffee, no soda, just water, and I had this holy shit, I've just been thirsty for the past 25 years moment, and I never looked back. Water or beer. That's it. Cutting out toxic friends. After years of knowing someone, it can be hard to see that they are no longer the person they were when the relationship started. My childhood best friend grew into a manipulative, selfish prick. For years I hung out with him almost every day after work and always felt miserable afterwards. Everyone around me questioned why I still spent time with him. I always made excuses that seem ridiculous in hindsight. I should have cut ties 10 years ago, seeing a therapist. My dad died when I was 16, and I never saw or really talked to anyone about it till I was in my 30s. So many years wasted, being angry and sad. How did you go about finding a therapist who matched you? I was very shy and self-conscious, but at some point I started just living how I wanted. I already wasn't popular, so what was I risking? Girls still wouldn't be interested? I guess I just started doing things I'd been afraid to do before, including being more outgoing. I know this sounds like generic advice, but it really worked for me. Every time your brain says no, that won't work out, or no, what would people think, or any other version of no, don't try. It's a perfect opportunity to do something you feel drawn to. Dye your hair pink. Try painting even though you know you'll suck at it. Fart and then say it was me. Okay, maybe not the last one. How do you shut out that self-conscious voice that thinks it knows the outcome of every situation? There's always something telling me why I shouldn't or can't do something I'm scared of. Independent blankets for my wife and I in bed. Incredible how much better you sleep when there's no waking up with blankets pulled half off, or using one that's too heavy or too light. I'd highly recommend for anyone that sleeps with a significant other. Edit. Holy cow, this blew up. Thanks for the awards. We are setting up to twin beds head to head. He has nerve damage and twitches in the night. We also are opposites on the hot and cold scale. I think this will let us hold hands and talk, but have our own micro environment. My girlfriend and I were flatmates before we started dating. We've been a couple for nearly a year now, but still have the 2 separate bedrooms. When we first started dating, we talked about how great it's going to be that we can move into the bigger room and turn the other one into a studio / craft room / office / whatever. Eventually, we realized that we really like having separate beds to sleep in. We can have sex in either room, cuddle for hours and watch a movie after, etc. But then when it comes time to actually sleep, we can go our separate ways and get a good, quality uninterrupted night of sleep. If one of us just needs a nap while the other is doing something in the room, we just go to the other bedroom and sleep. if we need some time to ourselves for any reason. The other room is there. We have sleepovers in each other's rooms sometimes, and it feels fresh and fun every time because it's not the norm. It's like living together and having our own place all at once. I feel like we've reinvented the wheel with how well it's worked for us so far. Buying a good knife for cooking. I just got a Whetstone and it's a game changer. Tomato season is glorious now. Losing 200 pounds. Edit. Lol. You guys had fun with this. To answer everyone's question, I meant weight. Former 397 pound fat chic here. Never even seen a British pound. Lost the 200 on my own through diet and exercise. Then about 24 pounds of excess skin had to be removed surgically. Someone give this man his 200 back. Permanently placed my phone on do not disturb. Allow calls from contacts. This one change saved me from constant disruptive unwanted calls. Life is good on no ring lane. I did something similar. I turned off push notifications for pretty much every app. Buying a wardrobe of good quality. Properly fitting clothing that I actually like. Agonizing over what to wear every morning because this doesn't fit properly. This one has a stain. I just wore that yesterday. I don't like how this sits on my body, would start my day off very badly. Edit. Thank you so much for the awards. I really appreciate it. For me, the big thing was realizing that the size I buy doesn't matter. It's how it fits. I have some tops that are a size S. I have some tops that are an XL. Who the hell cares what size is on the label? Don't stick to one size because that's your size. If you like something, try on different sizes and find out which suits you best. Accepting at 28 that I was a very emotional guy and letting myself cry whenever I needed to. I swear I cried constantly for about a year straight, as if catching up on all the feelings I repressed my whole life. However, it tapered off about a year ago and it kinda sucks. It's as if I literally grew thicker skin through truly allowing myself to feel the painful things I felt, and it's become increasingly difficult to cry like I used to. It felt really good to just let everything out. Fuck yeah, brother. I was 28 when I realized that shit myself. I also realized I'm a romantic motherfucker. There's good things to being more sensitive, learning to get over myself. Nobody cares what I do. Nobody is looking at me, and why should I care if they are? Nobody outside my circle has enough context to make accurate judgments about how I live. So why am I trying so hard to justify my decisions? As soon as I adopted that mindset, being alive got significantly less shitty. I do my best to be a decent person and to take care of myself. And the only opinions I care about are mine, my partner's, and my therapist's. I stopped caring. Not everyone is gonna like you. All you need to do is like yourself. Taking vitamin D supplements and getting a therapy lamp for the winter. Holy shit, does it make a difference. I realized after my first year of university that the reason I didn't do well in the winter semester was because I was feeling depressed and exhausted due to lack of sunlight. I live in Canada, so the days are way shorter in winter. So when you leave before the sun rises, get home after it sets, and wear a coat all day, so your skin is exposed to no sunlight, you miss a lot of vitamin D. So I take vitamin D supplements each morning to make up for what I'm missing, and I use a therapy lamp to simulate sunlight in the morning. You feel way more energized and awake during the day. I would highly recommend it to anyone who feels exhausted in winter. P.S. If you're interested in a therapy lamp, look up SAD lamp or seasonal affective disorder lamp. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the award. Edit 2. Awards. Bought a cart that carries my groceries from the cart in my apartment. No more trying to carry 5 bags in each hand. I read this as if the cart is automated and takes them by itself, but I don't think it's what you meant. If it is, then where do I buy one? Getting your teeth fixed. Edit. Thanks for the awards, kind strangers. I'm ready to get my teeth fixed for good and spend all my savings doing it. But my father is holding me up trying to find a cheaper alternative. He doesn't understand how much of an impact it has on my self-esteem. I'm almost going behind his back and just doing it. Edit. OMG, I wasn't expecting so much support. Thank you guys so much for all the advice. I'm not from the US. I'm currently living in Portugal, but I'm actually Brazilian. I'll analyze the better option, travel to Brazil, and get it done. much cheaper and equal or even better quality, or just doing it here for convenience. You young kids will think this crazy, but I'm glad to have gotten older. All those things that worried me when I was in my 20s just don't matter anymore. I'm 67 now and much happier. Totally agree. 53-year woman here. A hottie in my youth. The relief and freedom with not feeling like my worth is dependent on my looks is palpable. I stopped dyeing my hair during quarantine and now I have this wild silver streak in the front that I love. I think I'm going to grow it long again and fully rock the witch vibe. Why? Cause I'm old enough to no longer give a shit about other people's judgment. Also a lot of more substantial lessons about life and living and death. Edit. Thank you, kind strangers, for all the awards. That was really super sweet and made me smile. Hope you're all having wonderful days. Roomba. OMG, not having to sweep dog/cat hair daily is such a blessing. Edit. Lots of replies. It's 4:30 AM. I'm on my phone instead of PC. Thanks for the awards. To answer the more obvious questions, it's an iRobot Roomba 694. It has not sucked up dog poop, but it cleaned up cat vomit, only leaving a little on the floor. Like, a mop or spray and rag would need to be used anyway. The dirt tray has a macro filter and a collection area. You push one button, and it comes out, and you dump it in the trash. It does get under my dining room table, because it just barely fits through the chair legs. It does get stuck in my cabinet, but I have it running when I'm usually home for lunch and can save it. It works on hard surfaces and carpets. Mine does not map the room that I'm aware of. It does not have a forward sensor at all, just bumps into things and senses that way. That's all. Real talk, I don't know a single damned person with pets who has one. And I need an objective opinion. Does that shit really pick up all the cat hair? I've got 4 fuzzy beasts at home, and I really do want a little vacuum 2D2, but I could not convince myself to drop the cash on one only for it to struggle to keep up. How frequently do you have to maintain it? Yoga. I'm an old guy, and discovered it at age 56 in 2005. By now I'm still not terribly proficient, but yoga has kept me limber. More importantly, it has been amazing for improving my peace of mind. Whenever somebody asks why I practice yoga, I reply, for peace of mind. An Indian friend of mine runs a restaurant. An incredibly stressful job. It was eating him alive until he started doing yoga, thinking he'd gotten some yoga master from back home to teach him. I asked him how he learned. YouTube. It's great. You can find everything there. And hey, he's like a different guy now. It's actually amazing how much more energy and satiation I get from homemade unsweetened oatmeal versus the stuff from the packet. Agreed. Once I learned that breakfast can be healthy, it changed my life. Also, once you make steel cut oats, you'll never go back to rolled oats. Committing myself to a mental hospital and subsequent treatment. Been going through some shit myself lately. Looked at that as an optional therapy or something. But holy shit, any type of treatment is expensive. Like life-ruiningly expensive for someone like myself that isn't wealthy and doesn't have insurance. I cut my mother out of my life a few years ago, and I wish I had done it as soon as I moved out, just as I did to my father. My life has been so much better since she hasn't been in it. I feel better about myself. I'm not being treated badly, and I can do what I want without fearing judgment. I'm glad I never reconciled either, from what I hear from siblings. She hasn't changed a bit. She still has to be right all the time. She still lies about shit, and she still pulls authoritarian bullshit. I've pretty much written her off. She has 7 years left to come to me, apologize for the nasty shit she did, take responsibility for aforementioned actions, and prove she has changed, or is in the process. But if she doesn't do that within the next 7 years, there's no way in hell I'd reconcile with her. Starting antidepressants. I literally am a different person than I used to be. In a good way. I feel more confident in myself, more caring about other people, while still having very defined boundaries. Life changing. Selling my house. Don't get me wrong. Home ownership is great at times, but I was drowning in debt, and selling the place allowed me to reset my entire life. A huge weight was lifted from my shoulders overnight. Also, no more mowing the lawn. Going on meds that actually work. Edit. Since people really want me to be specific for some reason, I'm taking a blend of psychotropic medications to manage my depression, anxiety, and ADHD. I have no need to name them, and besides, what works for me might not work for another person. So I can't recommend medications. Please do not ask me to name things. More of a woman thing, using cups instead of tampons and pads. That was life changing. I no longer feel absolutely gross down there for 7 days out of every month, or have to deal with dry tampons. Finally developed the ovaries to tell my ex to get out. He was verbally and emotionally abusive to me and my kids. Had me believing I was a useless piece of crap for a human being and incapable of existing without him. Good riddance. Money. And I really don't mean to be a smartass. The difference between a life with no financial stress vs a life with financial stress is breathtaking. Seeing both poverty and financial success has made me realize just how unfair life is for those with little money. The system really has to change.